Prime Minister Anthony Albanese is preparing to travel to China later this week to meet President Xi Jinping, where he's expected to be greeted with red carpet reception. The diplomatic visit comes amid fresh claims this morning that China is hoping to capitalise on our fraying relationship with the US, with trade and investment to be a heavy focus of the discussions between the two leaders in Beijing. For their take, let's bring in Social Services Minister Tanya Plibersek and Nationals MP here in the studio, Barnaby, Joyce. Good morning to both of you.
Morning,
Barnaby, can this sort of take up some of the slack, do you think, our relationship with China that the US is creating?
Well, the Prime Minister must have a hell of a hand of cards because he's really got the chips on the table on this one. This is very dangerous. We've got to understand that the United States is a cornerstone of our defence relationship. It's not going well. This is the fourth meeting that the Prime Minister's had with the leader of China, but this is a totalitarian regime. We've got to understand that. And Mr. Trump has not had a meeting with the Prime Minister yet, and I'm truly concerned about that, and especially why they're doing a review on AUKUS. This is not good.
Shouldn't we make friends with China?
We should, but we should not do it at the expense of the United States of America. We've got to understand the realm we live in, and this realm of the Western Pacific. If things go pear-shaped for us, we're in trouble, real trouble, and we're supposed to be becoming as powerful. If we're going to have a defence policy that doesn't need the United States, we'll get ready to spend hundreds of billions of dollars on defence because we are way, way, way behind where we need to be.
That is what a lot of defence experts are saying, Tanya. Is the Prime Minister looking for a new bestie in China?
Well, your question started, Nat, with the assumption that there's a fraying relationship with the United States, and nothing could be further from the truth. The Prime Minister's spoken to the President on the phone, the Defence Minister's met his counterpart recently, the Foreign Affairs Minister has just been in the United States recently, the Trade Minister's constantly talking to his counterpart in the US. We've got all sorts of high-level dialogue constantly going on with the United States, and that's as it should be. The United States absolutely is our foundational defence and security partner. The relationship is terrific. We also want to have a good trading relationship with China. Under the previous Morrison government, the trading relationship had smashed our agricultural sector. We've restored $20 billion worth of trade with China. That's good for our farmers. It's certainly good for Barnaby's constituents, and I would have thought he would be welcoming the restoration of trade with the stabilisation of the relationship. As the Prime Minister has constantly said, we cooperate with China where we can, we disagree where we must, and that's worked out. That's worked out very well for Australia in recent years with the restoration of those billions of dollars of trade.
Well, you don't have to throw trade out the door to maintain your defence relationship. Now, if you're saying we have a great relationship with...
Well, it's a shame the Morrison government
You've got to let me speak. A great relationship with our neighbour in the United States. It's just that you've never been over for a cup of tea. They've never invited you into the house for a cup of tea. You haven't met them. So you say the best you've done is yelled over the fence to them, and this is not the sign of a good relationship. And if we can't extract a meeting between the Prime Minister of Australia and the President of the United States, we are on bad ground. Now, I like Kevin Rudd. He is a nice guy, but he is not the ambassador for the United States. He's got to be moved to somewhere like, I don't know, the United Kingdom or France, and we have got to really work on this relationship because it is tenuous. And that is dangerous, more dangerous for Australia than it is for the United States.
Nonsense.
Well, it's not nonsense, Tanya, because we just can't crack a meeting with him.
Tanya,
we look like the odd ones out when we go to these meetings. You're pushed off to the side, you don't get in the room. It's ridiculous.
Tanya, would you say that Anthony Albanese's relationship with Trump is exactly where you want it to be?
He's had multiple phone calls with the President.
Well, one was like a congratulations. I don't know whether that would count.
We were disappointed when the President needed to return quickly to Washington because the Middle East blew up. Anybody would understand that the President of the United States would want to be back in Washington.
He rang up the President of Mexico and the Prime Minister of India. He just didn't talk to us.
And there was 6 months in between, when he got in and then... when that happens.
The Australian relationship with the United States is
Going
deep,
badly.
long, abiding and stable. And I think it's actually really irresponsible, Barnaby, of you to be talking it down in this way.
It's not, because the Prime Minister gave that really weird speech at the Curtin Institute, where he basically started with an inference that we're going to go our own way. I mean, how on earth would that work? He gave the speech, Tanya, not me.
Yeah, Tanya, that was an interesting speech. It did feel like we were, heading in another direction. When you've got basically a conga line of defence experts lining up to say we need to be spending more on defence in this country.
His speech made the absolutely perfectly valid point that Australia and Australian Labor government will always put Australian interests first.
Well, then go get a meeting with the President.
Why you think that is remarkable?
Because you're not putting us first.
I don't know why you think that's remarkable.
It's remarkable because we don't have.
Certainly is.
We just have been devoid of a relationship at the highest level. The Prime Minister and the President are not talking to one another in a face-to-face meeting. And if you're going to put Australia first, you better get our defence relationship up to speed, because your number one job is the protection of the Australian people. It is not, because I didn't give that crazy speech that the Prime Minister gave at the Curtin Institute, where he's sort of like, oh, well, we're going to go our own way. With whose army? We're way behind. We've got 6 submarines, and at times none of them work. We've got frigates that basically sometimes we can't find crews from.
Instead of waiting for us to come into government.
We've got a defence force that's smaller.
Would have been terrific if you'd done anything other than issue press releases. We're worse than Australia's
ever been against a major superpower in comparative terms, not in real, not in total terms.
We are spending more than any government in Australian history.
That's why we put in everything, because that's inflation.
Almost $60 billion
it's like you're spending more on Medicare, you're spending more on NDIS.
Former chiefs of Army and Navy say we are in worse form than we were 20, 30 years ago. So that's who you've got to listen to. Former ASIO chief.
Started this project a decade ago. Yeah, it would have been good if we'd started under the coalition government.
Well,
how many times I have to say that?
That's a point too, Barnaby. Anyway, look, we've run out of time. Thank you very much. We've got to go. We'll see you next week. Here's Sherba.
Thank you.